Untold masses of humanity are teeming throughout the stars. In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, there is only war.
To the fourth episode of Fable Scraps' DoomLore, a 40k story. My name is Nicotine, and I'm joined today by a fantastic cast of role players and Ollie, our wonderful GM. Before we begin, I would like to remind you that if you are listening to this show on Spotify or podcast, know that we record this live every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific. If you do attempt to view this show live, you will also be reminded that the audience can participate in this show through the cunning use of donations. There is a mechanic in this game called Fate that allows the players to re-roll and do a number of other things. It's incredibly beneficial, and yeah. So if you want to help out the players, !coin in chat. I'd like to kick things off today by going around and introducing everybody. We'll start with Ollerant, our GM. Take it away, Ollie.
It's me. Hello. I'm Ollie. I do a whole bunch of tabletop RPG and board game and art-related content. Currently doing D&D homebrews streams where we draw and illustrate monsters live on my Twitch, which is Ollerant. It's the same everywhere, Twitch, Twitter. Yeah.
Wonderful. And can you spell that for us?
OliRant. It always feels like a test. I'm not good at it.
Thank you so much, Ollie. Next up, we have Lucid Fox.
Thousands of years ago, before Sigourney Weaver.
Hi, I'm Lucid Fox. I do things in the morning, like talk about politics, and that's really fun. And yeah, and then I hang out here on Fridays, and I play a Flamey Boy. So
Wonderful.
it's with two X's, the Lucid Fox on all the places.
Awesome.
Everyone you could look for.
Thank you, Lucid. Next up, we have Locke the Raven. What's up, Locke?
It's always fun to follow Lucid's introductions. I love doing that. But yeah, I'm Locke the Raven. I do role-playing games. I also do a little variety streaming on Twitch. I also do voice work. You can find me on Twitch and on Twitter. Just Locke the Raven. And there's my son. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
No, I'm not on Instagram. Thanks for the plug, though, buddy. Good Lord. Hi. Go to bed.
Thank you, Locke and son. Next up, we have Elf. Distracted Elf, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I'm Distracted Elf. You can find me doing Twitch streaming stuff on Twitch at Distracted Elf. I don't know. I play a stabby assassin in this game, so that'll be fun and always is fun. So.
Awesome, and that's spelled exactly how it sounds.
Sure is.
When can people find your content? When do you usually stream?
When? Like every weekday morning, if you're an American person, you know, like in the AM. That's as specific as it gets these days, to be honest.
No, I totally understand. Thank you so much, Elf. Next up is Enovan.
Hello there, I'm Enovan. I stream on twitch.tv. I typically stream VR, mixed reality games, and role-playing games as well, such as GTRP.
Wonderful.
And I play Yen Bonsell, who fails to romance gladiators.
How do you spell Enovan for us?
One day.
Enovan is spelled Enevun.
Wonderful, thank you. My name, of course, is Nicotine. I do a lot of roleplay on twitch.tv/Nicotine, Nikatine. I do a lot of Grand Theft Auto roleplay, and yeah, if you've never seen it, I encourage you to come check it out. It's really fun. I'm also on Twitter at Nicotine Prime. And yeah, you ready for the recap, Ollie?
I am prepared. Okay, first of all, players, do remember to restore your fate, as it is the beginning of a new session. Last time, I want to say infiltrated. Actually, you did successfully infiltrate a fight club for a little while. Some of you blended in quite well before just strange occurrences happened at the fight club, and fighting that wasn't part of the fight club occurred. I'm really blurry today. It's a health condition. Let me fix that. And there was some slaying of people who were probably breaking the law. One thing definitely happened is that your subtlety has gone down. This system has a mechanic called subtlety that I'm keeping track of for your party based on, well, how subtle you're being as agents of the Emperor's will. And after the fight in the Grox farm, the fight club, you attempted to find shelter and victuals in the merchant community that lives aboard the hold of the ship, but your subtlety has been reduced to such a point that the people in the merchants' quarters seem to fear you.
Yeah, I wonder
That
why.
is where we begin. Yes.
Oh.
The merchant hold of the Sibilants, and just as a reminder, the Sibilants is a vast void-faring vessel currently traveling through the warp with a population of around 14,000. The merchant hold is kind of it's an independent place and an independent ship where merchants from places the ship has stopped have kind of joined aboard the vessel. It's got a lot of artisans upon it due to the Sibilants' strange sort of subculture. You know, a lot of sculptors and painters can find a lifetime of work there, and they raise their children and so forth in the ship. And that's kind of the community that we're in. It is built out of one of the ship's cargo hold because it's not a cargo vessel. So one of the cargo holds has been completely converted into this almost like city district of merchants and artisans and crafters and pretty much anything you guys could get your hands on anywhere else in the Imperium. It's almost like a little bastion of Imperial culture, but it's only really the trade and wares side of it. Usually, you would find it quite easy in a place like this to find somewhere to rest, especially due to the organizations that a lot of you represent. Organizations such as the Adeptus Arbites basically have laws where they can knock and use anyone's bed if they need to and stuff like that. But due to your subtlety being low and maybe some failed influence rolls, as you've been traveling through the merchant districts, you have found shutters being closed, doors being locked, people leaving the streets. It is late on the ship's sleep schedule, more or less Terran time, so it is nighttime right now. Not that changes anything about the hab lights glowing and the moths attracted to them, but the streets are barren and empty, and people are more or less fleeing from your presence. Buildings being locked. Signs on inns and taverns are very quickly switched to having no vacancy and have locked down. In many cases, actual kind of industrial shutters kind of hissing shut. Leaving you, again, uncomfortably alone in the ship's streets that should be bustling. The lot of you are not at the point of exhaustion, but you do need sleep, you need food, you need water, you need rest. Especially Ohm, who is actually damaged right now, and everyone should know about it. As you've been walking through the merchant district, and it's clear that it's not subtle. They're not subtle, you're not subtle, right? They are, the people, the merchants of this area are trying to keep away from you the best they can. What is your group's kind of reaction to this?
Ohm has no reaction. He's just simply following along and looking for any sort of interface that he can find.
I mean, I think for Scythia, it's very much like, well, like, sure, these places are closed, but there will be somewhere that is not. You know what I mean? Like, there are places that serve food, and their service is to stay in them. You know what I mean? Like, there will be somewhere. The idea that there isn't is just ridiculous to her.
So your idea is to keep trying.
I mean, my idea is that just because it's closed here doesn't mean it's closed 20 minutes that way.
Yeah, of course. And it's a big place, so that's a very valid strat.
You can't have made 14,000 people hate us in such a short amount of time.
I mean, and even if they did hate us, people still like accepting trade, for
Exactly.
like services.
There's got to be an
Money's
Applebee's around
money.
here, you know?
That is a
Yeah.
side point. The checks you made before were not for trade. Trade is possible if anyone does have things they want to trade for goods and services. Before we get to such a thing, you actually are going to find a console that connects to the heart of the ship. You've been looking for 3 and a bit episodes and finally managed to find one, because this is a bustling community which the machine cult of this ship is very interested in working with. There are Mechanicus consoles. They are almost like altars of machinery, screens, and cables. But they do have places where you could either type into computers or essentially plug yourself in to send messages throughout the ship to other sections of it.
So, I guess the first thing Ohm would do is simply interface with whatever type of console it be via networking or just simply typing. And then
It's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, he's going to. The first thing he's going to attempt to do is see if he can pull any sort of information about what happened on the bridge. See if the machine will tell him anything that's gone wrong.
Like, essentially try to communicate with the machine spirits of the ship.
Yeah,
To
he's going
see if there's basically a diagnostic.
Mhm.
Okay, that is a tech use check. I would say that's a -10. It's not an incredibly hard check, but it's also not something that you've never communicated with something of this size, right? When you communicate with a machine spirit, it's often a one-sided conversation, and it's usually a much smaller object. I imagine Ohm has worked with servitors and things before, but this is much more of a big process. So, but only a -10. So
he's
definitely
not.
maybe do that.
I would say that he would be prepared not to receive anything because clearly the Mechanicus on this ship aren't doing what they're supposed to do. So let's.
It's a good idea to look, though. I'm very fond of that idea. What did you get? You got a 48 when you're looking for a 35, so that is a failure. What you do find, though, is that actually interfacing with the Mechanicus systems aboard the ship is easy. It's straightforward. You were worried before that because this is almost a private community of machine cultists on a private vessel, that you would have a hard time communicating with them. There's definitely a cultural difference, but the machine language is the same. Like, you can interface with these machines perfectly fine. This is just not the sort of thing that you can do from here. Maybe in the bridge you'd have a way better chance of it.
Oh yeah, of course.
And even then, it would have to be a longer ritual to talk to such powerful spirits, probably. But it was worth a check.
Yeah, he'll remain at the console for the time being, and then sort of turn and vent like just awful inky black ichor like out of his hood real quick, and then turn back to what he's doing.
Aww.
Yeah, nice. I like that.
So this is in a little like kind of side alley, right? Because this is more or less it's a very densely built section of city, but it has buildings, it has little towers, it has a lot of rafters where bodyguards are kind of resting with either guns or spy glasses and things, you know, like a floor up. That seems to be a very prevalent thing. It also definitely has the kind of almost cheesy, like, fairy light-esque decorations that trail between the buildings that give the place a little bit of illumination in the slight dim of shipside evening. While Ohm is kind of plugged into that console, you guys are, of course, left alone.
Do we
you're
notice
quite
him?
near.
We notice him plugging into the console, right?
Oh yeah, he would. Just kinda
No.
have to step aside.
He didn't say anything when he just walked.
He
over
wouldn't
to the
say
console
anything.
and just did it.
Yeah.
No, he would definitely just.
Yeah. You did know he was looking for one here. though.
Kaya sees him plug into the console and he gives him like a thumbs up, like nice, you know. Got it. Yeah.
It's like when your friend stops to tie up their shoelaces. You don't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
say to everyone in the squad, but the message percolates. Unless you
I
want to just kind
can't
of
do it when you're watching.
I knew it was going to happen. I knew it. It had to happen at some
Hey,
point.
let the man interface. Don't stare at it.
Except Yen.
This is more or less the high street, right?
Yeah.
It's more or less the high street. At the end, beside you is actually a chirosurgery, where you can see the lights are still on inside. It's one other side is most likely a brothel or something of the sort, and you can hear livestock a little further away. The sounds of chickens and all that sort of thing from what actually may be a food-ish establishment. If you want to kind of approach rather than just waiting for Ohm.
Just like to bend down to Yen, just gesture for him. Yen,
Yeah.
I would
yeah.
like you to go get us some food from that establishment. Can you do
Right.
that?
I mean, I can try. What sort of food is everyone like? I don't know. Everyone allergies.
It's just food. It doesn't matter.
Just any food, like maybe some bread. That good?
Yes.
Cheeses.
Yes. That will do fine.
Right. Are you sure we don't want to check with everyone's allergies beforehand? That could end really bad, you know.
Just punch him.
I'm just gonna
All right.
food, Yen.
Yeah, I'll go get.
Yen's right. Some people may be gluten intolerant, so this is.
Yeah, see, exactly. We might be vegetarian. You never know. Yen is gonna go before he gets his ass beat.
I'm gonna give Yen a swirly later.
Yen, my sweet lad, can you give me a +10 awareness check?
Yen's about to get stabbed.
Yen's gonna get beaten up here. He's gonna get beaten up there. There's, you know.
Ooh,
Hey, everybody, can I
Assertions.
have bread?
Wow, that was
So
actually.
that's actually a success. Getting a 13 when you're looking for
Oh
an
my God.
18. I don't know how you ended up like your
That was a
perception
close
is
one.
Always
better
ready
than
for an
18.
ass kicking.
So I don't know how you did that, but like whatever. It's
Everything's
actually got
coming
2
up
degrees
again.
of success. This establishment you're walking up to, based on the low Gothic signage on the walls, probably isn't actually a food establishment or anything. It looks like the livestock outside, which are being kept in a kind of pen with chicken wire type stuff, is maybe for sale elsewhere, or maybe it's just straight up livestock. But as you approach what is essentially a rickety metal stable that the chickens are being kept in, it's mostly chickens. There's a really like scabby dog as well. that is kind of like asleep on its paws. You hope it's asleep. But as you approach, you look around. Not that Yen's a very paranoid person. Like fingers in pockets, like looking around casually. You see a young woman sitting in the rafters of the chicken pen, eating one of the chickens.
Nice.
They are small and scrawny. They're like probably not even 20. They look a little too dirty to be one of the merchants, but you do notice the pistol that is like sitting beside her on the rafters, and they're eating the chicken leg raw. And I've got the rest of the chicken there. They have plucked it. That has been done. So there's some degree of like etiquette here.
Eating it raw?
It's sushi grade
Yeah,
chicken.
it seems so.
Yeah.
I guess Yen would try and wave up at the person on the rafters trying to get their attention.
They notice.
Hey, sorry if I'm interrupting your meal or something, but do you know where to get a good bite to eat around here?
She looks down at Yen. She's got kind of like where its eyes are so brown it almost looks black in the dim light, and kind of looks past Yen at the squad in the high street, ambling around. You with a lot of them then? Because like, don't lie, like you are.
Yeah. I've got another 9. I'm with them. I've been tasked with getting food.
You would have been thinking that your lot have been calling out the name of Horus with how everyone's been treating you down here.
Well, you know, you can't please everyone.
Nah, that's not true. But it's mighty hard. Look, I'm not gonna eat this whole thing. You wants it, you can have it.
The chicken?
Yeah.
I mean, Teresa did say
Look, no
food
one
is
else
food.
is gonna serve you.
You're not wrong there. I mean, if you're not gonna have it, I'll take it off your hands. If you're done with it, that is.
She kind of like reaches in to the bloated chicken-shaped mass. Like, because bear in mind, when I'm describing a chicken, this is in the 41st millennium, right? If you think about how, like, chickens in the early 1900s versus now, just give it a whole bunch more time of genetic engineering and stuff.
It's a blob of meat, yeah.
It's a blob. It's a blobby fowl. And, like, kind of just takes a little bit more meat off the carcass before kind of... yeah. Hopping down from the rafters and offering it to you. And then at the same time, kind of with the other hand, she like to put the meat in her mouth, you know, that kind of thing. Picks up a very ornate looking lantern. Like, compared to the rest of her garb, the lantern is blue and gold. It's got imperial insignias all over it. It's letting out a little bit of blue light. It's almost calming to look at it, actually. And kind of hefts that up under an arm very non-respectfully for what is clearly a very fancy and expensive thing. And then just kind of proffers you the chicken carcass.
Nice.
Thanks. Do I owe you anything? Or, I mean, thank you. I appreciate it.
Suppose it's charity. Everyone's been down in their luck sometime. And you lot are plodding around here, making an awful lot of noise, making an awful lot of insanity, making people go mental. So,
We try our best.
best stop you not rocking this place up even more.
You know, that is fair. and I honestly had no idea where else I was gonna get this food. So, I appreciate it. We'll try
You
our
looking
best
for
not to
places to
make
lay
other
your
people
heads?
mad.
They're already mad with you, mate.
We'll
Terrified, more
try
like.
our best not to make them madder, you know?
Well,
But yes, we are looking for somewhere to sleep. We're all getting a little bit tired, you know, long day. And everything.
Face stabbing.
Few face
there's a
stabbings, you
little-
know.
It does look a little acquisitive at that bit. She does kind of like rub at the dirt on her face. Like, there's a little hidey hole I know by the Groxerd where you can sleep without no one disturbing you, and you can leech off the water that they're using for the agri-grass. And you can eat that stuff if you want, if you feel like you're like cattle. I mean, what else are we?
No, I don't think I'm really at a position where I can argue against that. We don't really have many better offers. So, where'd you say it was again? Next to the grok pit?
Yeah, and she will actually give you instructions of how to sneak into an area of the Grok's herd. Kind of like, oh, if you go and move this panel, you can squeeze through and sleep in the mud.
How tight of a squeeze are we talking? We've got some big fellas over there that might not be the best at squeezing into things.
And this woman is tiny. and then she looks at the squad and like, oh yeah, big one over there ain't gonna fit.
No, and it's probably best that you don't try and then they get stuck. So, is there like maybe just a patch of hay or something, you know, they can sleep in?
Yeah,
Gentle.
well, I'm sure you can find somewhere. I mean, I
that's
don't
if they
know if
do sleep.
anyone's gonna be.
I can't say I've ever seen them sleep. So they might not sleep, you know?
that's fair.
There's people like that, they don't sleep. Just kind of stand
Some
there.
people. They don't feel comfortable sleeping when the ship's at warp, so I get that.
Exactly. Well, that's a problem they're gonna have to sort out themselves anyway. I appreciate it. I'm sure I can fit in there.
Good luck. They are gonna spit out a bit of bone and leave you be. The carcass in your hand kind of wiggles a little.
Ugh. Oh, food's food. And Yenna starts to walk back to the group.
With
Well.
meat.
Well, I
With
got
me?
some good news.
Go on.
Do tell.
I got food, and it's food, so you can't complain. It's this raw chicken carcass thing. Now I did ask about allergies, but you know, no one said anything, so chicken's chicken, food is food.
I'm keto right now, so that's cool.
Right, awesome. That work? Is that fine for you, middleman?
Ohm is still looking at the screen and doesn't realize that Yen is talking to him.
Gonna take that as a yes. Does he eat? Like, does he like feed on electricity or like knowledge or something?
I've never seen him eat.
No. Or for us?
I think Risa will probably allow the rest of the party to eat the food first.
Are we
Yeah.
gonna cook it or are we just gonna leave it raw?
I mean, that
Yeah,
girl was
yeah,
eating
you
it
don't
raw.
got it.
Well,
Wait,
do we have any
Yeah, you put
fire
it on
around
fire.
anywhere? Yeah.
Cynthia
Yeah, do
rolls
have
her
a flavor.
eyes. Cynthia rolls her eyes back into her head, and she's like, "Give me that." Takes it, goes like,
a chicken.
"Yeah, have you never prepared a meal before, ever in your whole life?"
I mean, anything
No.
can be considered. No, I haven't. No.
Then shut up. Hang on, one
Okay.
second. She like takes the knife out that she had from the guy she just killed.
Murder knife.
and-
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you
That
know,
can't be sanitary.
and it never touched me. Don't worry. And then starts like cutting the thing up into like smaller segments.
Yeah.
I'm imagining like background wise, she's rendered a carcass like 100 times in her life, probably more.
Absolutely. You
Because
come
she's
from a death world.
She's from a death world. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like,
And now she's doing it in the middle of the street.
yeah, whatever. But for her, it's
Same.
like a routine. It's a routine activity, right? Like it's not really that difficult or
Yeah, for
even
sure.
exceptional. And then she sort of like, there's a bunch of parts that she like throws away as like worthless. You know, you get to like a point when you're separating out the meat and it's like, oh good,
Yeah.
guts, awful, nobody wants that. Throw that away. And then she just like takes a piece of the raw meat that she's cut off like into a nice chunk and goes, this one's mine, and then starts like handing out this like raw meat from this chicken basically. Like she doesn't care.
I'm gonna equip my flamer and just hold the igniter out of the flamer a little bit and just
Nice.
nice.
Cynthia she just hands you the meat and lets you do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, I'm
After
just
that,
gonna
it's like
cook
my
my-
That's wise.
Cook it up a little
Promethean
bit,
grilled
yeah.
chicken. That's,
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little
It's
bit
a
of
delicacy.
gas flavor.
I also forgot to mention-
sweet kerosene flavor.
I got this chicken from someone that was in the ceiling. Is that gonna be a problem?
no one notices smaller mechanical tendrils have snuck out from the back of Ohm's robes and have picked up the organs that were discarded and have drawn them back in.
Ugh.
Perfect.
That's like horror movie stuff, dude.
Yeah. Caius is gonna also use Reese's Flamer, I think, and just like burn them to a crisp because he has no idea like what good food actually tastes like.
A loud series of grinding noises
Or
now
how to
starts
cook it,
from under
so.
Ohm's robes.
Just gonna like hold the flamer out, like the igniter out over to Scythia and just see if just gesture like, do you want some?
She's already eaten it. It's
Okay.
it's already gone. By the time you two are done cooking your stupid cooking, she's already finished eating, ready to
Hey,
move
I
on.
like the flavor of ash. How dare you?
Ready for throw up.
There's like
Do you
this.
mind if I-
There's like this sort of like unwritten history that she's eaten way worse stuff.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
there's
There's
like
like
this.
socking
this
away food. Didn't you bring any like?
Yeah,
snacks
I
with you?
did. I brought a bunch of stuff with me too, but this is like readily available now. So
That's fair. That's fair.
Cynthia has her own supply of stuff that she like took from the higher area. She's
Yeah.
not sharing. She's not sharing it with you.
It's fair.
That's
I'm
just sensible.
I'm gonna
actually.
hand,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
that makes
hand my
sense, yeah.
cooked piece of chicken over to Yen and just take his raw one. 'Cause I know he's
Aw,
not gonna
that's
want
so
to eat
nice.
it raw.
Put it into his hand
Oh,
that's been holding
Just
raw
gonna
chicken.
baby
Yeah.
bird it to Yen.
It's shaped
yeah.
like a dinosaur.
Oh.
Uh,
As are all rations
Thank
in
you.
the Imperium.
Mm-hmm. You said you found it from someone in the ceiling.
Yeah, it's
Explain.
like well, you know, you didn't really give me any directions. You just said go find food. So I started looking around. There was the chicken pen. There was someone in the ceiling of the chicken pen eating the raw chicken. And, you know, they were generous enough to donate. They said they kind of felt sorry for us, in all honesty.
Mm.
Yeah, they noticed that no one really wanted to talk to us. I didn't get their name. I probably should have got their name.
All right. Did they tell you anything else? Did they just hand you a chicken and that's it?
Yeah, essentially they felt sorry for us that no one was serving us. And then we made people mad. Then gave the chicken and left.
I see. All right. Ohm 13.
Acknowledged.
How are your injuries?
disconnects from the console, seeing as how it's rather basic, and he's probably not going to get much of anything out of it. And immediately just another long gout of black ichor just sort of erupts, along with several desiccated pieces of flesh from the organ meat that he took from under his hood.
Nice.
And then
Subnominal.
Is that chicken or... Where can we take you to repair you?
I am able to repair myself, but it would require time.
I see. Well, we need somewhere to sleep, then, I suppose, or rest in some way. Can I do an awareness check to see if there's any place around here that we can just...
For
Fine.
free, I will tell you that opposite the console that Ohm's been using is a chirosurgery, which a surgery, right? For repairing what ails you and installing prosthetics and stuff. That you could probably requisition have a look at our friend and let us sleep in a side room.
Ohm
right?
is already taking off towards it, looking quite animated.
Oh wait, I
As you
forgot one more
approach-
thing.
What is that?
Go ahead.
The ceiling lady, she recommended that a place for us to sleep, by the rock farm. So just kind of going in with her. There's a little bit of a little hole that we can sleep in. We can use some of the water there to drink.
How do we
I
get
give
to
to
the... How do we get to the... Oh, Ohm 13, halt for
Well,
one moment. I just want to hear that.
There was one little problem with it, though, is that it's kind of a tight fit, and you're
Inefficient.
you're kind of big. I'm not sure if you're gonna fit in there.
Ohm has
No
not
offense.
stopped, by the way.
I see.
Cynthia just goes with you in case, like, you already got stabbed in the face once. It'd be a real shame if someone stabbed you in the face again. So
You open the door
I'm just
to
saying,
the surgery.
it's an option.
and it's just
Anyone wants to sleep?
How tight of a fit, Yen? Can you fit through, or Cynthia?
I can't say that I've tried, but the ceiling lady was very petite, and she said it was a tight fit, so I think I might be able to fit in it, but you might get stuck.
I see. All right, let's go to this prosthetic place, the surgery place, and if that doesn't work out, we'll see if we can send you and Cynthia through the tight fit.
I mean, you can try as well. I don't really know. It's a good backup option,
Certainly. I just continue walking towards the surgery building structure.
What's the plan here? There is a not necessarily a console, but like a little screen with buttons and a speaker right by the door for kind of like appointments and things. It is probably one of the fancier areas around here because, of course, health always an important industry. So like the door that you're in front of is seriously shut and seriously quite heavy as well. But of
there a
course,
way to
nothing compared to
see-
like a bulkhead.
Is there a way to see, like, is that interface possibly, like, what services are offered?
Ooh, yeah, because this is a quite fancy place. You can kind of press a button on it, and one of the side screens will kind of like flicker and show the service, which is more or less, prosthetics installation, minor damage recovery, plastic surgery, all the kind of things you would need from it's like a middle of the line chirosurgery, right? It's not, it's a good treatment.
I was going to say, could I possibly push my luck and see if there's any sort of cranial armor on the menu?
Oh, if you could get an augmentation here, that I'll allow you a tech use to see if you can, because it's not necessarily the menu, but if you kind of like fiddle with the what they've got available and see if they've got it available, and then maybe make it even more available. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I have an appointment.
Did just like walk up and do like the RoboCop spike into the computer?
Yeah,
Nice.
for sure. Give me a tech
Nice.
use with a. Oh yeah, that's fine. That is a success actually. With a 41, looking for a 45. So you go up and you start communicating with the machine spirits within the walls, because this is actually quite a well-to-do chirurgery, and the merchant fleet section here in this charterist vessel is well-to-do. They have equipment, they have resources, right? You can actually kind of worm your way into the systems, right? If this was a different system, it might be called hacking. But, you know, interface with the vat-grown brains that empower some of the machinery within the surgery to essentially book yourself an appointment for a augmentation and recovery. Now, I will say that this is not a surgery that someone can take lightly, and Ohm knows that. This would take time to get, so it might not be something you get right now, but you have just basically hacked the medical system to give yourself a surgery in the future, which you could totally use now to go, well, look, I need that now, give me a checkup now and look on things, right? You could kind of do that. If you were interested.
Oh, well, actually, in that case.
Arrangements secured.
And Ohm seems to intend on making this the place he plans to rest for the foreseeable evening.
For sure.
As he withdraws from...
Arrangements for just you?
Correct.
Nice.
I'll keep that in mind, and then I leave.
I'd like to just use the radio to talk to Cynthia really quick, because I'm sure that as soon as Cynthia said that, she just disappeared.
Oh no, like I'm coming back towards you guys, like because kept walking while you were talking about whatever, right? So
okay.
I went with So I'm just
nice,
like headed
nice.
back. I'm just headed back towards you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I approach and I'm like, Ohm's found somewhere to stay, so they're covered.
I see. All right. And gesture over to Yen. This one found some kind of potential accommodation for us. It doesn't seem feasible for me as
Potential.
as it's kind of a tight fit. But if you, Cynthia, and Yen want to take a look at it, I can maintain radio contact.
Sure, I don't mind taking a look.
It's worth taking a look. You know, place to sleep is a place to sleep.
And I just look over at Caius and just,
Like lead the way. Yen.
you're with me, Caius.
Yeah.
Yeah, and leads the
fix it.
way.
Let's go.
I'm not leaving Caius
Fix
out
up
of
to
my
your
sight.
front harness.
Yen and
Monkey
Cynthia,
tail backpack.
you can follow the instructions that the chicken coop lady gave you directly, easily. At the side of the merchant city, you can find basically an access panel where you can kind of like the metal to the side, go through some pipes, and you end up in a bit of a side area in the Groxherd section, where there are water pipes and kind of almost hamster-like water feeders, but for much larger creatures, where you can get fresh water, and long grass that kind of grows from metallic pods in the ground. You know how AstroTurf kind of is in that the grid? It's a bit like that. And it's out of sight to everyone but the Groks, who are there's currently no Groks in here. Of course, Groks are horrifying and terrifying creatures. So you don't want to make their ire, but if you kind of find a little place in the corner to curl up, you could definitely sleep quite easily here. And actually having a source of water that you can like fill flasks with and stuff is pretty useful if you're going to be traveling through the ship more.
See, this ain't so bad, you know. Could be worse.
Yes, well, the issue is that it's only good for some of us.
I mean, we could try and get Rice through there, you know? Just a little bit of a squeeze. If we work together.
Just tell her there's crime in there.
It's like the
Someone's-
Kool-Aid man just burst through the wall. Attention,
You're right.
Someone's
citizen.
committing a heresy.
Risa, there's a heretic in there.
Punches through it like RoboCop.
Attention, citizen.
Nap time.
I'll click on the radio and just. Cynthia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What does it look like? Where are you?
You're talking.
In the back of the. I'm using a radio, you moron. I'm in the back
Oh,
of the.
right.
I'm in the back
I
of the
said hi.
Grox herd.
She talks to herself too. That's cool.
Back of the Grox herd area, we went through a segment of pipes, led to a pretty reasonable place if we're just sleeping on the street. But I mean, you could just sleep on the street as well. I don't really see how this is necessarily better than that.
I mean, we got water. There's, you know, some comfy grass we can sleep on. Rather than sleeping on the floor.
Did Yen say water?
Yes.
Yen will now stay silent.
Do we have like vessels to carry water with us?
I think it's a bit of like a kind of a tabletop RPG givey. Like you have flasks and ways to kind of store enough water for a day or so, right? Because, I mean, people in 40k universe are really hardy. They probably just like, I'm gonna have one tiny sip of water and then I'm good for like a week. But yeah, you definitely have like water flasks and things, and ration packs or packs for your rations.
Okay, then Cynthia, why don't you come back to me and take my water vessel and lead Caius to that location. I'll check on Ohm.
All right. She looks
What's
over
Ohm
to
doing?
she looks over to Yen like, don't move, and then goes to do the thing.
Okay.
Harnesses Yen to a bulkhead.
Staple gun, just staple
Yeah.
gun him to the.
Just a little like
Yen will,
yeah.
will start like making makeshift beds out of the.
Yeah. And it looks like other people have definitely done this before, right? Like this is it's not an unknown spot, but like this is
The
a
Yelp
sort
review.
of thing that people do. Yeah. Very comfy,
Yeah,
very stable.
I just checked TripAdvisor. This place has 4 stars. It's probably legit.
While that's going on, because that's autopilot, right? You go and. But what is? Are you going into the neurosurgery, or you're like kind of content?
Oh no, he's going in. If he can, if it'll open up for him, he's gonna just go and get his stuff done.
It will. So and Rice, I imagine you are nearby enough to when the door opens. And
I'm
he's
outside the
ushered in,
door waiting
you
for
see
him.
that.
Yeah, I'm right.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
outside
of
the
course.
door.
he hasn't gone in. Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't gone in.
Oh, you're not going in?
No. I mean, because she was saying she's waiting outside for him. I hadn't yet. Because you hadn't
No,
said
like-
whether the doors had opened for him or not.
Yeah.
not yet.
When you've gone in, she's waiting outside, right? That's
Yeah.
the kind of
Yeah.
plan.
Right outside.
You get essentially like your pre-surgery checkup in this little surgery. This little like private surgery that is actually pretty clean. So when it comes to neurosurgery, it often has a lot of connections to not necessarily the Mechanicus, but the Mechanicus way of thinking. So it is quite welcoming to you. You meet with the surgeon, who is an incredibly tall man with a hunch, who kind of will examine you and like will have to take the hood down and whatnot, but there's no one else in the room. So. Yeah, I know, right?
To be a fly up that wall.
Yes, you do see the silhouettes. There is a nice yellow window where you can only sort of see the silhouette of what's happening on the other side. You see
Risa
this, like,
looking in like
creepy
spaghetti
figure.
or something.
Yeah. There's not really much he can do for you with light damage, I think. But you can basically rest here for the night while being kind of checked on, making sure that the weak flesh of your body doesn't get infected after that rusty shank into it. And yeah, being prepared for a cranial implant. The surgeon will show you. It is a metal skull. For those who are not aware, Ohm basically just hacked the medical system into getting his soul augmented, his skull augmented with metal. I think Ohm would be the type to basically want to have it replaced rather than like fixed. So that's kind of thing. And you can see it's like, well, this is going to be going inside your head, that sort of thing. And I think it's pretty all right. Would you be kind of resting there for the night, Ohm?
Yeah, so he's having his skull replaced, basically.
Not today, though. That is going to take 12 days.
Yeah. Well, no, I just want... Can he keep his actual skull? Like, if he has it replaced
Is that
out,
the request? Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering
Okay,
it's a
cool.
long time for service, yeah, I think... So yeah. It won't be like hot. It'll have to be like sculpted back together, which they can do. I mean, it's really the same technology.
Yeah.
Are you planning to have your old skull turned into like a servo skull assistant in the future? Yeah, it's very 40k. I'm into it. Yeah, you're setting up this plan. You're talking with this surgeon. You finally have someone that you could talk to about these things. You're getting the plan done to have your skull replaced.
And he can't do anything about the wounds?
Let me check. The book is a little vague about this. There is a system for it, though. Because right now you'll heal 1 point per day. Because you're only lightly damaged, so it's not that bad. You'll heal 1 point per night. You can increase the speed. Here it is. Different section of the book. Of course it is. They can... With an extended care, they'll make a check. Yeah, so actually, if you stay here, you will be healed for either 2 or 3. The guy is going to roll.
Yeah, we'll hang
so
out
you
here.
might as well.
Yeah.
Will you tell Risa, who is... You can look out the window and
Well,
it's just
did
a silhouette.
did he just... Did she come up in time for him to notice? Or is she just there? Because if he doesn't know she's out there, he's not gonna...
You are aware that Risa is outside. You might not be aware that, like, Risa is outside waiting for you, right? I don't know if that... I don't think Ohm thinks that way.
Everyone is aware that
but
Risa is outside.
We know. So, it's kind of
like a
up to
cat
you.
who got left outside. Well, if Ohm happened to turn and look at the window and see her outline, he would probably request that the surgeon make her aware.
Oh,
If-
okay. Okay,
For
that's
whatever
excellent.
means he can loud hail it through his door or whatever.
I was hoping you'd say that. Risa, after, this is a couple of hours, Kai has already been sent and you've got your water and stuff. The surgery door will open. It's a very tall door. It's a very tall man. like not quite 7 foot, but like close. White garb, kind of like backpack that has not quite mechadendrites, but a lot of equipment on it.
Is he taller
Hands
than I
cast
am?
together and spindly.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
Tall.
You're 6 feet, I think.
I don't think it was defined. Definitely very tall.
on the height section. Tall. Yeah, he's probably a little taller than you.
That doesn't happen very often.
No,
I respect him.
It is uncomfortable.
I respect him.
Fingers will kind of clasp together and be like, the one known as Ohm 13 will be resting here until the morning to prepare for the cranial replacement and augmentation.
Very well. Show me to him.
What?
You know what? I think that is a check.
Nice.
Could you please not beat up and inflame the surgeon that I need? Just
If there's
one
heresy involved,
interaction.
it can't be helped.
Can you just make me a fellowship roll? So I don't think you're not intimidating. It's just kind of like,
Yeah.
does this guy think that you're, you know,
You
it's
could
that sort of thing.
bust out the R.
It'll have a plus 10 because it's an ordinary check. Yes, for sure. Ooh.
Oh no.
That's a failure with 5 degrees of failure.
Risa
5
panics and
degrees of
beats him to
failure.
death.
The surgeon looks down at you, smiles, and says, "No," and the door just
he just hovers backwards. And
yeah, and locks firmly
I
shut.
don't think so.
she
And
sneezed
the
on
light turns
inside
off
of her
in the
helmet.
window as well. Like,
I see. Fine.
Was Risa still holding raw chicken when she did that? That might have been.
Can I look around just to see if there's anywhere else that I can get accommodations?
if you want to give me an influence check for accommodation, at this point you're like alone, and stuff. And again, you're like an arbiter, so maybe that will kind of come into it.
All right. So an
Let me
influence
check the. It is an influence check with a. I'm just looking at how the rollings work. I believe just a plus 10. No, it's actually a plus 0. Plus 0 influence check. If not, you'll probably just sleep on the street.
Oh.
Well, listen.
You were looking for a 34.
Good news is
You got a 93. Get the bad rolls out now, so when you're fighting people, you get the good ones, right? That's how it works.
That's it.
Try squeezing through the pipe.
Well, because an influence check like this takes time, right?
Yeah.
That's the downside. This isn't just you check Yelp. Where is the Arbiters friendly? You know. Would you end up sleeping on the street or finding like a little hidey hole if you couldn't get anywhere? Because there's nowhere that's even willing to serve you or look like it can serve you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. I think I would. I think I'd just find a corner, like a corner, and maybe some garbage. Just kind of make like a little garbage fort and sleep behind the garbage fort.
Garbage nest.
But definitely in a corner so that nobody can sneak up.
Yeah, of course. There's always a danger, but surely nothing bad will happen. I need to make a medical check for this guy. He is a tier 3 medical person. That gives him a plus 10. What does that plus 10 do for him? I don't know. That's a good question. No, that's right. He needs to get degrees of success. That's right. That's
Just
what.
take the 3 points off now. It's fine.
It's really good. It actually is a failure, so it's only going to remove 2 points.
Oh,
Getting a
this
79
guy.
when the threshold was 70. Look, has a lot of weird stuff going on with their body. The line between man and machine, Obi-Wan would be confused. So you're only going to remove 2 wounds, leaving you with 1. But what's 1 wound out of 10? That's fine. Don't worry about
Oh, yeah,
it.
this is the trash bed of surgeries, I'll tell you that.
Garbage board of surgeries.
He's still like cleaning chicken parts out of like Ohm's face.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna cost extra,
Desiccated
What did you
meat
eat?
everywhere.
It's all stuck up in there. A lot of you do get your rest. You've had your fill of food. You're not at any risk of starvation, dehydration, exhaustion, which was why you came to the merchant city in the first place. But I do know that a lot of you are interested in trading wares or acquiring wares before you move on. And this is really the place to do it. So come morning, when I imagine you start to regroup, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that might be the priority.
Everyone have a good
Looking
sleep?
around.
I don't sleep. But I watch you
Okay.
sleep.
just touching
Okay.
himself.
Right? I'll take that as you had a good sleep.
You looked very peaceful.
Yeah, I had a good sleep,
Yes,
Bit of
just
grass,
fine. Thank you.
pretty
yeah.
warm. Got water. Not on trash. What about you, Rice? How do you sleep?
Did you guys come back out of the little
Yeah,
hiding
I
hole?
mean, I
think
guess
we made
I
our way out
probably,
to
yeah.
you.
Yeah, I assume we regroup.
Yeah.
Bryce,
Ohm may have not regrouped yet, because Ohm's Ohm, but you guys can regroup.
Bryce is just picking little bits of trash off of her uniform. Fine.
Ohm will
well,
come out of the cryogen.
Did you sleep on the street?
Yes.
I see.
We could have brought some grass out for you or something.
Yeah.
No, I
No,
managed.
You didn't find anywhere. Not even like a Motel 6.
I don't
Tom
trust.
Bodette normally leaves the light on.
I don't trust the accommodations here. Least of all that one.
Arch Saint Tom Bodette. Ecclesiarchal Saint Tom Bodette. Holy Illuminary of the Emperor.
Yeah.
My accommodations were acceptable, and we can leave it at that.
Well, that's good to hear.
I think it would be wise to explore the marketplace and find some way to improve our assets.
I agree.
We're also supposed to be looking for the source of wherever this strange
Yeah.
thing is coming from, right?
That's right.
This urge that people are feeling.
We should try to stick together. If we get separated, Scythia and I can talk on radio together.
Maybe
Miss-
you might all acquire radio communicate. That might be something to look into.
Yeah, that would probably be beneficial.
A comm bead be helpful.
Ohm is still
No,
occupied.
he's out.
Oh, is he out?
He came out.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
and he's got a little data pad with plans on it for something.
Yeah!
Ohm, how are you feeling?
Nominal.
Wonderful. All right. Shall we? I just kind of start walking with slowly
Of course.
with Caius up by me,
With the squad.
And snuggled up. Yeah.
snuggled up to Caius.
You're old
It's-
news, Yan.
It's morning, so I assume that things are more open than they were in
Yes!
the evening.
Yeah, that, you know, obviously, people are always more terrified in the night. When wares are being sold and work had to continue, right? They couldn't just be scared of you all night, and plus you disappeared off the streets. So, come morning, the merchant hab block is bustling. Like I sort of described before, there are people working on their arts out in the street. There are people selling things out of kind of like corner shops. There are people trying to be like, oh, if you want this deal, you go down this way, that sort of thing. It's really just life. Life is happening, although there is a bit of a sharp edge to it.
That's
a lot
perfect.
of the
I'm looking
finer-
for sharp edges.
Hey! A lot of...
Nice.
Which isn't uncommon. I mentioned this before. A lot of the finer establishments, like the Chirurgery, have kind of like a raised area where there's a guard. They're really on edge. In fact, you pass quite a lot of like fights with bouncers. Like someone is trying to get into an establishment. It's not even like a tavern, and they're kind of not quite brawling, but you know, it feels like they could kind of get at each other's throat at any minute. A bit like the energy in the fighting pit, but it's smaller little clumps. The average people on the street, they kind of don't really exactly care. Now, people do recognize y'all, but not in a grand scale where they're terrified. You pass people and they like, pull their hoods a little tighter, or they clutch onto their imperial insignias and say little prayers just to make sure that they don't think... You don't think that they're a heretic or anything of the sort.
Good.
They're clearly guilty.
They are.
Of course.
All of them are guilty of something.
What would you like to look for first? Or would you like a break to think about it?
I think we definitely want to arm Scythia.
Yeah.
I mean,
'Cause
Scythia
it
wanted
took
that.
forever to
I want a
kill the
helmet.
one guy with the chain blade.
I want grenade.
I want Scythia
I mean,
armed.
I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking for.
You all know
but
what
I-
you want. Let's start
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start with weapons. Now, I think I know what Scythia wants. I've heard of it. You're looking for a mono sword, right?
That is what I'm looking for. Yes, I need a mono enhanced sword.
So
It's
the
actually
way-
physically worse than the chain blade. It is a downgrade,
but it's quiet.
but it is quiet. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Something
So
like that. Yeah.
swords shouldn't be that hard to find.
Swords are
The
Swords are
mono
common,
attachment-
but then the mono
Yeah.
upgrades it by 1. Yeah.
Now, usually that would mean that you'd have to attach it yourself, right? That's how attachments work. So what's more happening here is that you're looking for someone who can either craft you one or who already has one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Acquisition rolls. What are we looking for on a common roll? That should just be a
Common
plus
is just
10
a
check.
plus 10, yeah.
Plus 10 influence. Go ahead and give me that when you're ready,
I
Cynthia.
will roll a plus 10 influence check.
Degrees of success will affect whether you get a sword that can be upgraded or a
Yeah, because I mean, there's also quality to
the
consider.
sword that is upgraded.
There's also
Yeah, you
quality to
you
consider.
choose what quality you want
I mean,
when you're looking.
I can't really afford to go anything but average.
Nah.
Just because the modifier is too harsh for anything higher.
And
So.
you know what you want a regular sword gives. I mean, the fact that it's balanced is going to be really useful.
That's one of the main reasons it's better than the chain blade. The damage is lower, but balanced means I get a plus 10 to parry checks. So.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, let me roll this. Here we go. 3 degrees of success.
Success with 3 degrees of success. That's excellent. Okay.
Hey.
Looking through the weapon stores here, there's a lot of people who know how to make fine weaponry. Now, when it comes to crafting weapons, when it comes to things like las guns and stuff, most of that is done by the Forge Worlds of Mars, actually. But simple swords and stuff like that,
There's
they
all
can be done
kinds
by
of stuff.
artisans.
Yeah.
there's all kinds of stuff that can be built by artisans, as well as like the occasional special thing. Now, if an artisan makes you a really cool pistol, it might be heresy. Kind of. It's a grey area. A fine crafted sword, that's absolutely fine. You know,
I mean, there are
you
definitely
find-
like for ranged weapons. There's definitely different like patterns depending on like where it's
Yeah.
being made, though, right? So
yeah,
it's not
different
necessarily
places have different
unique.
styles.
yeah.
Yeah. So you might say, for instance, want a type of las gun that has a slightly different firing technique, and it was just really rare, and you need a collector instead of something to
Yeah.
craft. There's
When
a lot
it-
of
when
ways
it comes-
you can kind of customize it.
When it comes to stuff that is usually classified as like low tech or primitive, you're gonna get all kinds of weird stuff. So, like a mono enhancement just makes it not that, and gives it +2 pen. So.
Of course, yeah. So the long and short of it is, whether it is via a collector or a crafter, you can acquire a mono enhanced sword, which increases
If
its
it-
cutting ability.
If it helps, I'm willing to like trade the chain blade for it. As
Trading
well.
is a different mechanic, so this was a success without trading. This
Oh,
was
okay.
this was a sort of, maybe it's even a little bit of death cult influence, right? You don't.
Yeah, there's like some secret hand sign or some gesture that like marks both of us as like members of some specific faction, and I get the mega discount.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
You need this weapon to be better at your duty. A mutual understanding is made, and you acquire this weapon. And kind of its design and its features are up to you, but it is a mono enhanced sword.
I like to think it's probably like a properly sword length, like long swordy length kind of sword.
For sure.
But like thin and like very unadorned. Like very, very simple. Like it is an implement, not a decoration. If you know what I mean.
Excellent. That sounds perfect.
So she gets that.
Who next?
I will add
wants
it to the
buy?
list.
Listen, I'm in the market for a flamer, so what can we do about this?
Flavors aren't hard to find, actually.
yeah, I
But
figured.
do bear in mind,
Uh-huh.
when you buy gun,
Uh-huh.
use bullet or ammo. And
Yes.
That
So I need to
can
get both, yeah.
sometimes be harder to find. Now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure a flamer is scarce. to
Yes, it
find.
is. It is scarce.
Which is a -10 on your check, which means you can just go out and look for this here. Now, if you want to trade something to increase that chance, that means
what
I have
if
to look
I
at these tables
traded
again and
out?
work out how to do it.
Yeah, what if I traded out my shotgun for a flamer?
Okay, let me check. Trading. Trading in items. It has an availability lower than what's being requisitioned. So you want to trade the shotgun?
Uh-huh.
I don't think they'll accept a trade for a shotgun.
Oh.
I think it might be less rare.
So basically, how it
What's-
works is you
is
need to
auto
trade
pistol-
something rare for something that's not as rare, and you don't have
Ah.
anything rarer than scarce. I'm pretty sure, because you're not meant to at the start.
Got it.
Um,
But hand flamers are rare, so I could get one of those.
No. So,
No?
you could look for a hand flamer. It would be a
Okay.
harder check. When it comes to
Ah.
trading, you need to trade something rarer than what you want.
Ah,
to
okay.
get the
So what
bonus.
are the levels then? Is it rare, very rare, scarce, or is it?
There is a chart in the book at the beginning of the armory section where it has a lot. It goes from ubiquitous, where you can get it for free, abundant, plentiful, common, average,
okay,
scarce, rare. So if you have something that's rare, you could trade it for something that's scarce. I don't think you do.
let
But
me
you,
look
and then you
and
get a
see.
bonus equal to the difference. So if you had something really rare, you get a way easier check, right?
Sure.
And you don't trade that in if you don't make the trade as well. You do get to keep it if it's like, well, you just don't find anyone who's willing to take that trade, right?
Sure.
And it's also not necessarily a one-to-one trade. It's also kind of like, well, if I do this, I get that, art of the deal kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. All right. What can I? So I know the shotgun also has weight, so I could at least try to get rid of my shotgun or sell it for something. So I can carry around this gun?
Yeah, so you could sell it for something that is not as rare as a shotgun. How rare is a shotgun? It's
see.
average. So
Ooh,
if you
what if
wanted
I
something
got-
common, you were looking for a helmet.
What if I got a...
Earlier.
Yeah, I do. I would like a helmet as well. What about a laser? Las weapons.
A las weapon? Yeah, you can probably get a... what about a laser? You can probably get a las weapon for this. Sorry, I gotta go through a lot of charts, and that makes me void off into the side of the screen, which I...
Yeah.
You can trade this for a las gun or a las pistol. You can trade your shotgun for that.
What's a las lock?
Fine. A las lock is a single shot primitive las gun. So there are worlds in the Imperium that aren't as technologically advanced, but they still have like shreds of the technology. So that's how they do it on feudal worlds. This area, though, you can quite easily get las guns and las pistols.
Yeah, I'll get a las. I'll trade this shotgun for a las gun.
Sure. A las gun is two-handed. Do you want a las pistol as one-handed, or are you happy getting a two-handed?
You
can get both.
Yeah. No. I've got an auto pistol, so I don't need to. Unless I'm trading both of my things for las. No. I'll keep the auto pistol and trade the shotgun for a las gun.
A las gun. I mean, it makes sense. You have a strat for when you're one-handed, and you can have a two-handed more reliable gun. And the good thing about las guns, I mean, I know you have the book open, so you can just kind of add that into your character sheet, is that they are reliable. They only jam on a 100, which did happen to someone last combat.
That's true.
Another cool thing about las guns, you know how I said ammo's a thing. As you were kind of getting this weapon, you're going to like a military surplus store and you're trading it. Right, and that's fine because there are a lot of military merchants aboard this vessel because you were traveling to. You actually get this little snippet that's like, oh, we're fully stocked. We're traveling to a war zone. You know,
Sure.
Las guns are powered by heat. Their ammo packs are basically little thermal batteries. When you plug them in, it heats up the las gun. You can actually recharge las guns and fill their clips at wall terminals, or if there's nothing available, you can set it on fire and restore its ammo. So las gun ammo is all over the place.
We had anyone who do that, yeah.
You can even in the future get Omen upgrade where he can recharge las weapons for you. That is literally a thing that he could do. I don't know if he would be willing to sacrifice that for the team, but just saying, that's how las guns work, and that's pretty useful. And so that goes the same for your one as well, Yen. It's like, you can just, well, I used a couple of shots, I can recharge it at, like, a merchant, right?
Reload full. Special.
Do you still want to look and see if you can get a flamer, Lucid?
No. I think the las gonna be good. And that way, you know, if I'm gonna roll for influence, I'd rather do it for a helmet, honestly. I think if I can make it a fair and even trade for the las gun for the shotgun, I think that's fine.
The helmet is average, which should be a +0 check. So if you want to look for just some kind of head protection, that would be fine.
Let me las. I'm just changing my sheet right quick. So las gun, what's your weight? 4. Oh, nice. I saved a little bit of weight there.
Shotguns are bulky in this system, in this world.
Yeah,
they are
for sure.
big things. And the nice thing as well is that like the merchant would be really happy to trade that shotgun off your hands. Like it's seen shit, and that makes it more valuable in some ways, you know, as a trade object. If only they knew the truth of it.
If only they knew. Okay, so as far as shotguns, so I'm making a
+0 influence check.
+0 influence. Give me 1 sec to open up.
Don't type +0 in the thing.
Yeah, for sure.
That confuses it. We did that before.
There we go. Influence. Boop. Nice. That's bad. I did not find a helmet.
While you are quite well versed at interacting with those who deal with weapons of war, those who deal with more defensive items find you very uncomfortable to be around.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're not willing to get all of the trade. Unlike a lot of your acolytes, you don't represent any organization. Like you have imperial robes that make you look like you belong, but you can't go, here's my badge, right? Or here's the secret death cult handshake.
I do have a,
right?
Secret death cult handshake.
I could intimidate these people, you know? No,
that's a whole different thing. That's a whole separate thing.
I could,
which is an option. Let's go look at something else first, though, before we start intimidating everyone.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yen, you want grenades, right?
Yes, but now I think about it, I'm not sure if I have anything to trade for them.
It doesn't matter.
You
can roll an
don't
influence
need
roll.
things to trade.
I got that
Because
sword
you
for
are-
nothing.
Yeah,
good point.
like the system works because there's no money, right?
There's no-
You
yeah.
can get items that you can essentially trade for money. In fact, you could have got some from the fighter's pit, but I'm fairly sure you threw them on the ground. These work orders.
You didn't tell us they were
although
valuable. Ollie.
People were trading them for money,
Yeah.
for usage. But you're more likely to get, or maybe art objects that certain people will be interested in, almost like gems and stuff from D&D. But usually it is your influence. It is how much, and people in this system or in this ship know that you're here for some reason, right? If they can help you when you're dealing with the whatever's happening, they might be willing to do that.
Okay.
Now, my friend, there are many types of grenades. What are you looking for? The most common types are crack, smoke, and stun.
Crack? What does crack do?
Crack grenades are... I was wrong, I read that. Super wrong. I meant frag. Frag and crack are pretty interesting. So a frag grenade explodes outwards. A crack grenade kind of like implodes. It does damage to a small area. Crack grenades are more rare than frag grenades. Frag grenades are common, though.
Crack grenades are armor penetrating, basically. Like they're the grenade you'd use on a tank.
Yeah, they have armor penetrating 6.
It's like a shape charge.
For sure.
Okay, I'll probably just look
In
for the common
typical
grenade then.
40Ks and whatnot.
I don't think
Okay.
I've got any common grenades yet.
No, you have
got 2 stun.
utility grenades. So that's common. Okay. That would make it, say it with me, a +10 check.
Plus 10, yeah.
Now, there is a rule about trading, not grenades, but ammo. And that will be, I believe it's your degrees of success. Decide how many you get. So if you just want to give me the +10 while I look for that, that'd be great.
Ooh.
Well, that's 1 degree of success, so you're going to get at least 1 grenade.
Nice. Better than no grenades. Better
Maybe
than
you get it
losing
from the
5
same guy
grenades.
you're trading with Caius from.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Ooh, they have fire grenades.
Oh yeah,
Really gonna
there are a
shotgun, you get
lot of
free grenade.
there are a lot of cool grenades in this system. Availability, check, heals 2 clips plus 1 extra clip. Okay, so you actually get 3 frag grenades, because that's how we were kind of using it before. The same war dealer. You're like, can I have this? Get a couple of typical frag grenades. They work exactly how you'd expect.
That's
don't
all
tell
Yen
you how to
says.
throw
Can I
them.
have this?
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you how to throw them because I know you're not planning on throwing them. Is there anything else anyone's interested in picking up just off like acquisition checks and trade?
Is
I
there?
do-
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I do. Can I get some grenades as well?
I'd like
Yeah,
to...
you can try the same check. It's a +10
Yeah.
influence.
Oh, it's +10 influence. Try to get grenades.
Oh, they're common.
I see. You get stun, smoke. Can I get fire bombs?
So they're going to be rarer.
Those are plentiful, right?
What? Excuse me?
Yeah. Fire bombs are plentiful.
It might be
told.
like a Molotov kind of thing.
It might be what
Yeah.
Molotov is. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Let me
primitive
stumble
explosives.
through this
yeah.
book.
Ah, they're primitive explosives.
Fire-
Okay.
Yeah, a relatively primitive
Oh.
explosive,
Yeah.
firebomb's a breakable canister of flammable liquid.
Absolutely. Plentiful.
Yeah.
A plentiful roll is a +20. So if you give me an
Yeah.
influence of +20, see how many firebombs you can get. That's actually really good too, because if you set a fire, then you can manipulate the fire. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's my plan. All right, so let's
Yeah.
so plus 20. That'll
Yeah, that is a
That'll work.
success. That will give you same logic. Let's say it gives you 2.
Nice. That works for me.
Now, just before you, just so you know, it takes a half action to ready them before usage because
Yes.
you'd have to light them.
Yes.
But yeah, you can stock up on some. You either buy fire bombs or you buy some very flammable alcohol. Either way, you know. Nico, were you looking for
I
anything?
would add those to my ranged weapons, I guess, right?
I think Ohm 13 was looking for something.
Ooh.
I'm still looking at possibilities.
Ohm has kind of 2 things he'd be looking for, especially with this group. One being armor,
Yeah.
specifically carapace armor.
Oh. That's gonna be so in a place like this. Even if you get carapace armor, it's gonna be a shady deal. Carapace armor is quite rare among the Imperium. The reason why some people are terrified of you is because Rysa is walking around in it. You play the games, you play the board game, you think, oh, everyone's in armor all the time. No, it's actually pretty rare. That doesn't mean it's not impossible. It's a rare check to look for it. But that's each individual part. So you might be able to find, the gauntlets or the greaves. Or you go for the full Enforcer Carapace, which again would be super shady because that's what the Arbites use. So it means that someone killed an Arbites and is selling their armor, right?
Well, good thing you don't have scruples when you're basically a robot.
but if Rysa sees you walk out with an Arbites armor with the icon scratched off,
Sounds like
there's
heresy
gonna
to
be-
me.
That's a discussion between her and the shopkeep.
but because you already have you haven't got terrible armor. You have what, like a flak coat?
Well, no, I'm looking. He's specifically looking to armor his head.
Oh, the only real way to do that is to buy a separate helmet, right?
Yeah. that's-
Flak helmets aren't that hard, and the surgery you're gonna get when you have the time to commit to it is gonna increase that by 1 anyway. Just forever. You could try and look for a carapace helm, which, to be fair, just people do make really heavy helmets out there. That could be a bit of a Hail Mary.
Look, I think I'll do a flak helmet because he can just salvage pieces off of that and put it into his robe.
Exactly right. +0 for that.
For an influence roll.
Yeah, influence +0. Ohm's people skills leave things to be desired. Getting 5 degrees of failure.
Oh no.
Rolling an 83, looking for a 33. You don't really find much in the way of that kind of armor isn't really the sort of thing that people are making here, because there's a lot more of like fine tailoring for the pilots.
Mm-hmm.
And some degree of mechanical carapace craft for the machine cult, but most of that they probably do on their own, or they have very personal connections to some of these craftsmen that you aren't privy to. But probably something you could, like, you know how these sorts of things work in these sorts of places. You could maybe connect yourself into that network of people later on.
Oh,
I think to
totally.
work on.
I was just Hail Marying, see what I could get. But
For sure. Anything else you were looking for? I
yeah.
love shopping parts in the shows.
There would out of character, I'd love to roll to see if I could find him a ballistic mechadendrite, because he gets that additional boost to cybernetic rolls, but
That
I don't
would be
think
very hard to find here.
I don't think he'd touch anything that he found in an open air market along those lines.
No, that is like a, okay, you have people you trust, here's the influence check to see if you'll install this to me, right?
Right.
So, that makes sense. Any more for any more? Or are we good?
Yeah, I'd actually, I'd like, oh, yeah, Yen, go ahead.
No, you can go first.
I wanted to see if anybody was carrying a las cutter.
A las cutter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't want to be.
It's an
I
average
don't want to be
check.
too big for the hole anymore.
That's wise. That's character development. That is.
Yeah.
That is a +0 check. If you have anything scarce you would want to trade for that, then that's a whole separate thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just do the check. How do I do that again? Character sheet, player sheet.
If you go to your character sheet and just press influence, like the influence attribute bit, you can just make a roll with it. It has a whole different appearance for some reason.
It's no modifier, right?
No modifier with this. It's just whether you succeed or not. And unfortunately, you're going to fail. The only people who would be willing to sort of trade for las cutters are the maintenance crew on the vessel. And the Wallers, the Waller community, do
the
have
ones
some
you
degree
killed.
of trade to here. But they don't really like Rice that much, because there are rumors forming throughout the ship of an Arbites who has come aboard and is starting to kill seemingly exclusively their kind, although then of course you have slain a Mechanicus member as well. So while merchants are like, oh, if I had it, I would sell it to you, they do all the talk. When it comes to actually having something, no one has anything for you. The people that could help, you're not good with.
I see.
Good idea though.
I'd like to see if anyone has a power maul or a shock whip.
Okay. Likelihood low.
Getting the spicy ones.
Yeah, the chance that anyone on this vessel has encountered a power weapon before is 1%. They are incredibly rare. Shock whips, though, much more likely. I'm gonna say, like, because of the negative modifiers and stuff, like, you're not even gonna get a power maul. You just wouldn't be able to find one here.
Sure.
Shock whip, though, absolutely possible. All manner of.
I mean, those are great
torturers.
for smacking laborers with, for example.
Exactly. They're always available. Now, that is rare, which gives it a -20. Although, on a ship like this, it would be much easier to find one of poor quality, which would give you a +10 on the check.
I see.
That does, of course, affect how it works. On a melee weapon, having poor quality does something. It's a different section of the book.
It's like a -5 to the weapon skill when using it, and also it's like more likely to break. There's a couple of things.
More likely to
And
break.
You can't modify it is the other thing. Like, it has to be at least normal quality to modify.
Got it.
That's really good to know. But it might be a worthy trade if you just kind of want it, for roleplay and versatility reasons, right? So instead of it being a -20, being a -10 check.
I think I'll yeah, I'll do the I'll see if there's a garbage tier one.
Yeah, sure. That is an influence check with a -10. That one just says failure. It didn't even read anymore. You were looking for a 24. You got a 34. You're not having a very good time getting things from the people of the merchant fleet.
It's beginning to seem suspicious.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
It turns
Super
out
suspicious.
It turns out that the words "attention citizen" don't work as well in the marketplace as they do.
Attention, citizen! I am in the market for a whip.
What's a whip? What?
Attention,
before we
citizens. You're hurting my feelings.
I liked that last week. That made me feel happy. Because I'm the one hurting the feelings, right?
Alright, then, yeah, I don't think I need anything else then.
Shopping spree
Yen's
temporarily
one more.
ended.
Yes.
Oh, what are you looking for, Yen? What are we wanting?
Communication devices.
Oh my
Nah.
god. Yes.
Okay, so there's options about this, right?
Okay.
When Scythia said, just get a combead forehead, Scythia has a really, really, really advanced piece of technology.
I've got a nice fancy one.
Of course, because technology in the 41st millennium, the more advanced it is, the harder it is to acquire. But also, there's just sort of obscurity, so some things are more common than others. The microbead isn't that bad. The Voxcaster is actually harder to find. What? My whole life's been a lie. So the microbead is actually just an average check. Never mind. I thought they were much rarer. If you want to try and get one.
The thing
now,
about the difference,
Voxcaster
the
means
thing
you
about the
can-
difference between the Boxcaster and the microbead, right, is that the Boxcaster allows you to broadcast your voice louder rather than just.
No, that's the
communication.
loud hailer.
Oh.
The Voxcaster allows you to
I'm going for this
kind of tune
microbead.
into more things,
Yeah.
right?
Ah.
Microbead
Yeah.
is a one-to-one. Like you've signed up to be on each other's like network. It's not changing until you add someone else.
It appears I acquired a bespoke microbead.
Hell yeah!
The
That-
best I
absolutely.
could get. Yeah.
You know what? That's such a good check.
The good shit.
You can get one for Yen too.
Nice.
Nice.
You rolled a one.
Hey, little guy. Here you go.
I'm not that little, but thank you.
Shh. It's okay. Enjoy.
The
My
trader's
four is
like,
very
"They've-"
average.
the trader's like, they haven't even been in a human ear before. Like, genuine.
We didn't even have to wash filth off these ones. They're fresh.
Absolutely. Well, you better believe that would have been
They're
what
not
happened if you
even.
didn't roll
They're
well.
not even from
Right,
dead
right.
guardsmen. Wow.
Yeah. Of course. Awesome. And you guys can also spend a moment with Brycer kind of tuning those in so that you can all communicate, which is super useful. Although I did kind of like the little tube squad thing we had going on. That was cute. This is a great time to take a break before you continue on doing whatever it is we were doing beforehand.
Looking for heresy.
As always.
The job that just keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Evidence.
Skulls.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ollie. We're going to be back in just a few moments with the second half of episode 4 of DoomLore, a 40K story. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to the second half of the 4th episode of DoomLore, a 40k story. Do you want to take it away, Ollie, right away?
Hell yeah, let's just dive in there.
Dive right
Okay,
into it.
shopping spree.
Ollie, I would like to immediately interject with, I would like to, now that our shopping spree is over, make an awareness check about where the hell we need to go now.
Nice.
Well, you know what? Awareness does make sense
Yeah.
right now.
Because
I'll
what
allow
I'm
you to do an
what I'm
awareness.
what I'm looking for are merchants similarly attired to the one we vaporized, and anyone acting equally as weird as that previous guy. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
If that makes a little sense, that is going to be a +10.
Because
That's,
surely
you know
he
what
worked,
you're looking for.
Surely he worked for a shop around here,
For sure.
which means they've got the same kind of gear, probably. All right, so here we go. Awareness time. So you said +10? +10.
Yeah. Yep.
I get a 34 when I wanted a 44, which means I have 2 degrees of success, 1 degree of success.
I think it's just a 1, but I mean,
I
it's a
think it's just
success, right?
Yeah.
So I imagine you were probably doing this while buying things, right? You were
Oh, of
keeping an
course.
eye as you've been traveling through the merchant area, because this whole process took at least a couple of hours, right, of working out how to talk to. Unfortunately, it's just a thing in the Imperium. A lot of people dress very similar. But you have a very keen eye, especially for things like insignia and ways you could keep track of someone or the organization they're from. Like I mentioned before, there are people acting strangely. Now, in a place like this, there's always going to be people getting a little bit fighty because they didn't get a good deal or something customer service work, you know. There's always people who are mad about something for something. But the degree of rage that's starting to come off people, you just notice it kind of ever present. If someone gets mad, they're getting really mad. And if it was just one person, you hadn't been doing all these other things for the last couple of days, you wouldn't think it's weird. But you saw in the fighting pit that people were just getting more and more furious until someone pushed them over the top in a way that didn't seem human. Now, you don't see anything like that. You don't see anything that would deem supernatural or anything. Like the glowing that you saw before, absolutely definitely not. But you do seem to recognize the kind of places this person would go to, like people who are wearing similar outfit. Mostly it would be loaders, right? People who either are carrying things from place to place, or more accurately, are organizing other people using either small vehicles or servitors of where things are coming and going, and you have an idea of the sort of warehouse and the places these kind of people would be
I
at.
think the move is like, once we're all gathered back together from our disparate shopping experiences, which I assume we didn't all follow each other around for.
You were in some little friendship clumps, but yeah.
We get back together and Sadia says, that guy who was sort of the leader of that whole thing back there, definitely a loader. If we can find someone who has the employment manifests or something like that, someone will have not shown up to work today. And then we'll know who we've had interaction with, and then we'll know where they've been in the day before that or the days preceding that, or preceding that. Which I think will give us a good lead on wherever this essence is coming from.
Good work. Can you acquire and manifest for us?
Oh, there's my sound. Okay, that was weird. Well, you'll have to repeat what you said. I'm sorry.
Can you acquire an employee manifest for us?
All things are possible, theoretically.
loaders specifically. If you can't, then we'll try and talk someone into giving it to us, but this will be easier.
You can even like point him in the direction of, you
Yeah.
know, these people usually hang out at like the corner.
We know where the warehouse is, so.
Yeah.
So, what are they exactly asking Ohm to do? Are they asking him to just plug into a computer and look for a manifest or something?
Yeah.
I mean, surely it's all
think
stored in data as well, yeah.
the other option would be maybe there's a data slate, right? It's one or the other depending on how high tech these guys are. And on this ship, they could have quite a good degree of technology.
What we could do is intimidate the guy who's organizing the loaders into giving us their data slate for to examine quickly rather than them leafing through hours and hours of like, bullshit. That's an option.
That is also an option.
I assumed
Or
that
we could
search would
distract
be...
them while.
Yes?
Oh,
Yen?
Sorry, I was just saying we could distract them while someone else gets the data slate. That's an option.
Yeah.
Ill-advised. Would suggest simply asking.
That was my plan.
Nice.
All right, Yen. Scythia will take you to the person you need to ask for the data slate. We need to borrow it and examine it. Can you get it for us?
I can try it.
Very well.
My best.
So,
All right, then. We're not all going, just me and Yen?
Caius and Ohm and I will watch. We'll stay back a little ways. I don't want to arise any more suspicion.
yeah, we don't want to roll like the whole squad deep on him, yeah.
Smaller groups, less notice. Fair enough.
I'm gonna have Ohm do a awareness check to see if there's any interface or anything he can find.
Sure.
Or perhaps even a servitor that's
Yeah.
Give me a plus 10. Awareness with plus 10. It's a good idea before you start going in and start seeing if you can negotiate. Never mind. That's a horrible roll.
still been
Cursed,
stabbed in the head,
actually.
buddy.
47, but you rolled a 86.
I too would
Big
like
difference.
to do an awareness
You're
check.
still getting used to your new face.
Oh no, he doesn't have it yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
no.
That's why he's sad. He wants the face.
Mhm.
You can totally do
No,
it,
he's-
Riser.
he's
You're
still-
gonna have a. This will just be a plus 0 for you because always looking for things that he's very aware of.
Oh no, to hell with that. I'll use that power I get that lets me burn a fate point to automatically pass
Hey!
an awareness test.
That's right. You get that for being a seeker, right?
Yep.
Mm.
All right, well, there you go.
Nothing escapes my sight. You can use a fate point to automatically succeed an awareness check with a degree success equal to your perception bonus, which is 3. Okay. So kind of before anyone enters the warehouse, you can kind of look around it. And it's open on one side because this is a place where people are going and toing and throwing. There's also sort of suspended mag monorail sort of things that leave from it occasionally when it needs to send quite a lot of things, especially further through the ship. Now, you were looking for kind of 3 things. Somewhere you could interface, data slates, or a servitor. When it comes to interfacing, they do have an office that has some machinery in it, but you can straight up see the glow of a data slate coming from that table, and it's almost definitely going to be either the manifest or something where you can get enough information from it that it is as good as. When it comes to servitors, this is where there are plenty of them. Now, we haven't actually discussed servitors yet in this campaign, but for those of you who are new to the 40k universe and the Imperium, servitors are very common wherever manual labor is necessary. They are either lobotomized or vat-grown humans who are cybernetically enhanced for usually a single purpose. In this warehouse, they are carrying things, or lifting things, or cleaning things, you know. There's quite a few of them, probably around 6 or so, all with pallid skin, some of them lumbering around on two legs, some of them their legs completely replaced with wheels or something. The larger ones actually bear the sigils and signage of the Cult Mechanicus. Now, the Cult Mechanicus makes most servitors in the Imperium. Around here, there's some private ones. Maybe even the surgery assists on making them every now and again. Again, that's kind of like a grey area, but if it's done properly, it's fine. You don't see any techno heresy, but you do see a couple that are clearly created and used for the cult on this ship, and that based on like you can even tell from the burns on the hands where they haven't quite replaced the vat-grown flesh yet that they've been working near the engines on the ship for a lot of time, right? Like, this one servitor in particular is clearly one that is doing a lot of work around the heart of the machine cult. And maybe you may be able to leech a lot of information from its data brain if you can interface with it. Now, it's not necessarily something that you could do in polite company, although you might be able to kind of hand aside, I'm part of the Mechanicus, although we all know Ohm would just walk up and then everyone else would have to explain what he's doing. But yeah, data slates, yes. Interesting servitors that may have interesting information, double yes. How do you guys want to address the warehouse?
I mean, we need to get and that data slate together, basically. So,
Yeah.
I assume that's our plan.
We've got a few options to going about it.
I turn to Yen and I'm like, anybody comes along, just keep them talking for a little while. We'll take the slate and we'll bring it to home and problem solved.
Right, so we are using my plan.
When you say distraction, not the grenade throwing kind, okay? Okay.
But it's a good distraction.
No, it's not. Not in an Imperial warehouse.
I mean, I guess it depends on your opinion on a good distraction, but okay. I'll just talk.
I like distractions where I'm not arrested and then executed.
Got a good point there. But it's still a good distraction. But I will just talk.
Ohm has started walking towards one of the more impressive
Good.
Mechanicus-oriented servitors.
Yeah, you expect Ohm is going towards the office, which is, you know, it's kind of one of those, like, raised box offices on the side of the warehouse, but he just kind of veers to the side towards where the servitor's working.
I would like to head directly towards the pick-upable data slate and swipe it.
Are you going to be stealthy about it, or are you just going to be like,
Of course I'm going to be stealthy about it.
I love that no one goes to stop Ohm doing it.
Whatever, you do it. You're Mechanicus, whatever you want.
I'm gonna nudge.
I can't stop you. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm gonna nudge Caius. I'm gonna nudge Caius and just
away.
look over at Ohm, like gesture over to Ohm, be like, you know, let's come with me. And I'm just gonna sort of trail Ohm and just kind of keep an eye on him.
Yeah, we'll start following
Hanging
behind
out.
him.
Let's
see who's up
Cynthia,
to.
can you give me a stealth roll?
I can indeed.
For that. This is going to be a plus... You know, this is even a plus 20. This is routine for you. This is exactly what, like, you are trained for.
This
This
is the kind of
is
stuff that I do.
sneaking through a warehouse, right?
Alright, well, let's see if I can get it. Here we go. I rolled a 95. I'm burning a fate point. I'm rolling again.
Please. Please.
Goodness.
Ah! Still
Oof.
bad. Still
That's a
bad.
68
Time to
or
work the old
63.
yen charm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... while Scythia is up there, Yen, you notice that there are quite a few loaders around, right? Some of them even have weapons on them, just in case. And you notice that one of them is kind of like just sort of checking a manifest that's actually been written out. Some of the servitors here are writing. There's got auto-writers of what exactly has been happening. And he's checking and is sort of like, oh, what's going on up there? Yen, before I even go into it, like, what's the plan here? How are you
Get 'em,
gonna...
Yen.
Charm him.
Get
Yen
him with
would
your
like
social skills.
pretend to accidentally bump into the guy.
Classic.
He purposely bumps into them, but tries to make it look like he's doing it accidentally.
Yep. Now what the hell roll is the accidental bump into them strat?
It's charm.
It's
it's
a deceive.
clearly
That's
charm.
a deceive.
Yes, yeah, charm.
They accidentally kiss.
It's charm, yeah. If
We
you
lock
kind
eyes.
of look into each other's eyes.
No,
yeah.
look, it's
I dropped my
charm.
textbooks and we both
Yeah.
go down to pick them up.
Yeah. It's charm if you're like, oh, I'm sorry, let me help you with that, you know? and
I'm
then
going
you-
to prom.
Yeah.
It's a
Hey, can I
deceive
try and
roll.
knock?
The quill,
Deceive.
the what is it? The scroll out of his hand.
Yeah, kind of like trying to knock the scroll out of his hand with the bump.
Yeah, that would make your deceive check harder. That would make it a +0. Bear in mind that you can spend a fate to increase the threshold by 10.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll spend a fate for this.
It seems like a good idea instead of making it into a bigger problem. So that'll be a deceive roll with
Yeah.
a +10 altogether.
Roll plus 10, come
It could go
on.
either way.
Yay!
Okay, that's excellent.
Perfect. Perfect.
It's a 34 and a 50. Yen, do you want to elaborate how you perform this maneuver? Or
Covering
you
more
go-
for my spectacular failures.
So Yen kind of like backs up into him, his back to the guy, and like kind of just crashes into the side of him, trying to kind of into the side of his arm, whichever
Yeah.
arm he was holding the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you
Watch
there.
where you're going.
Oh, no, I'm
Jeez.
so sorry. It's just, you know, it's a little bit cramped here, you know.
It's
Did you-
cramped. By the throne, this is the most open warehouse in the Sibilance.
Well, you know,
You come from some tiny little moon or something, little man.
well, technically, but you know that's besides the point. I'm
No, I
terribly
don't.
sorry.
I don't. Just get out of my sight. Just I don't. I don't
being
care.
beaten up.
Let me pick up your pad for you. Yen goes to, like, pick it up, and actually, as he picks it up, he just gently throws it away a bit more, like behind the guy.
Just make it slide across the ground.
His
Oh, God,
pants fall
sorry.
down. He cries.
Oh no! Just
No, sorry, Butterfingers. You know, I just had chicken. It's a bit greasy.
what the
What's
hell is
chicken?
a chicken? Get out! Of here. Get your hands off that. Get out of here.
How come we've got
sorry,
English
sorry.
accents when we're in space and there's no credit?
Is
Now
it,
that was.
is it in this moment that my stealth is covered enough that I managed to grab the...
Yeah. That's
it's
when
like-
you sneak out. That's what the bump is for.
All right,
Yen-
I'm sorry. I'll just leave you be.
Yeah, you did succeed enough to take the paper from the scroll if you want to do that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Just stealing things at random because we can.
That's right.
Well, it might be relevant.
Good for those
Yeah.
people.
Look, it is the
Excellent.
prerogative of the Inquisition that we steal everything.
We're not officially working for them yet.
It
We're
doesn't
just
matter.
Murder bums.
It doesn't matter.
Just murder bums.
Yeah, we've
that's
just
true.
murdered half the crew.
Yeah, we're the
excellent.
bad guys.
This is what you
Oh.
wanted, right?
While all of that's happening in the background, you don't care. Give me a tech use to talk to the servitor.
Yeah.
Plug into its data brain. What is that for you? I did kind of mention you probably do have experience with servitors. Let's say it's a +10.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
That's a 9 for a 55. Yeah, that's really good. So you can.
You two went to high school together, apparently.
You can plug into the servitor's data brain and basically download anything of interest. This check is also so useful that the other people in the warehouse don't really bat an eye. There are Mechanicus in Mechanicus robes. They're messing with the servitor.
The one time Ohm is useful for just wandering in and doing things.
Oh yeah, for sure. what you witness in the mind. So servitors are meant to be wiped quite a lot. They have meant to have their memory wiped quite a lot, just in case anything happens. And that's not really been happening. So there's actually quite a lot of data that you can get. And you can also get the data as like, they tried to delete it, but whoever did it didn't really do it very well, you know, that kind of thing. You can FBI the computer. And the machine cult, you know, you can... What are you interested? Are you interested in kind of what this servitor's been doing? Are you kind of interested in going back through like the vid recordings of what it's been seeing? What are you looking for here? You've got access.
Yeah. Well, I would say who's been performing maintenance on it, how, and where.
Excellent. So it seems that almost all of the machine cult's practical dealings is done in a kind of church, a temple to the machine god. Through the data that you can get from it, it seems that whenever the servitor is in that place, being serviced, having holy oils kind of applied, that there's a lot of very minor amounts of scrap code. Now, scrap code is very dangerous. It's techno heresy by omission, right? If you allow something to gather scrap code, it can essentially become wild. It can become like a wild machine, and the machine spirits aren't happy. And this is something that, okay, they didn't delete data properly. Whatever. People miss that. It's a failure, and you'll report it. But not missing this is nearly impossible. This is routine stuff. And the fact that it's happening every time they go to the church means that there's something in the church causing that. Either other machine spirits emanating scrap code, or maybe it seems like the machine cult is encouraging the machine spirits to corrupt. Seems very surreal to think about, but that would be the evidence. This is happening only when rituals are being applied, and the rituals that they apply, again, there's all these liturgies in Technolinguica that you don't know, that are suspicious, that seem very strange to you.
Would Ohm have a degree of control inside the servitor that he could shut it down?
You could shut it down. You could shut it down and wipe it now if you thought it was a risk.
Yeah. Because he's going to be very disturbed by what he sees.
Yeah, and that would be the protocol, right? This thing needs to be burned, more or less.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's going to say whatever can't or right or litigation, like, you know, he needs to, and then he's going to just fire sale the thing, basically.
Do you want to set it to self-destruct or something?
Yeah, it's wipe its own memory and then become basically useless.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, right? Like, it wasn't doing anything while you were plugged into it, but the servitor was still kind of like standing. It was like holding something, like an empty crate. And then when you kind of unplug and the prayers are done, it just and drops everything, and like the jaw slacks open and stuff. A little bit of smoke will even come out from where some of the technology connects to the flesh. It's a good smoke.
Yeah, Ohm's just gonna turn around and just walk right back out the way he came. Exactly out the way he came.
I would like to intercept Ohm. Because I just watched
intercepting your own party members.
Kill a servitor. Which is absolutely
Can't kill a servitor
against the law.
It's not against the law for a member of the Mechanicus to do it.
Yeah,
but it is sus.
That sounds like people law.
Yeah.
Ohm. Explain.
Yes. Clarify.
Explain why you deactivated the servitor.
Stares at her for a moment, kind of sort of giving the impression that he can't understand why she's asking him, well, what do you mean, why would you?
There is techno-heresy aboard this vessel.
What kind of techno-heresy? Elaborate.
These are not things for you to know, but they are of great concern to me. I must report this vessel to Mars.
What evidence do you have for this heresy?
I have stored it and sectioned it away in my cogitator. The rites are not being performed. As I have stated, this is not information you are to be concerned with, but it is of great concern.
Just want to glance over at Caius, kind of.
Risa, I'll say this, Risa will notice the more she pushes him on it, the taller he seems to be getting. So he's actually, like, matching.
I'm gonna just look over at Caius a little bit suspiciously, like, you know something about this heresy?
I have some ideas. The Mechanicus that we burned to death earlier, that mysteriously burned to death earlier, had a aura like he was controlling the outrage or channeling it.
Could this be your...
Incorrect.
In what way, Ohm?
The Mechanicus that was, as you say, lit on fire, was raising its core temperature in order to self-destruct and attempt to kill you.
Is that all?
There is something wrong on this ship. Something wrong with the Mechanicus. Something wrong with the people in the fighting pit. Their flesh was weak, and they, too, were as hot as the Mechanicus was. There is something wrong on this ship.
I think it's around then that, like, Scythia and I guess probably Yen roll up together, I imagine.
Yeah.
And I like hand the data slate over at the only part of that conversation that Scythia heard was there's something wrong on this ship. And she like hands over the data slate to and goes, well, maybe you can figure out what it is, since we know who's gonna be missing. They're gonna be listed in here.
I do not need to search this data slate. I have evidence enough.
Wait, so we did all that for nothing?
Cool. She takes the data slate and tucks it back away. Well then, you want to share so we can go and deal with the evidence?
Ohm is going to look at Risa, and then he's going to look at Scythia, and then, actually, where's the other servitor that has the Mechanicus emblem on it?
It is currently slowly stomping away. It's just doing its service, right? It looks like it's going to go and replace a light bulb in one of the lamps. Like, it's just doing its job.
Ohm is going to head off towards it.
look at the rest of the group like, what the fuck is happening?
He found something in another servitor that caused him a lot of distress.
Right.
He disabled that servitor.
It's pretty standard from what we've seen so far.
We need to find a way to contact Euron. Question him.
We still can't raise we can't raise him on comms, can we?
Ohm did find a way to communicate with the machine component ship. But not via comms, via the consoles.
Sure.
I'd like to just begin walking towards Ohm. Like, come on. I want to see what he's going to do with this servitor. He's going to disable this one like the last.
Yeah, if Ohm gets close enough to the other servitor, he's going to try to interface into that one as well.
Can you give me an awareness check with a +10, Ohm?
Sure. I'll do a fate point to do that awareness check again.
Yeah, so that was what, like 4 degrees of failure?
Holy shit, it rolled the exact
doubles.
same
You rolled
thing.
an 82 twice.
Nice.
Wow.
That's excellent. That's actually beautiful. Because as you're approaching, singular focus. Although your enhanced mind is capable of thousands of tasks at once, right now, singular focus. It is as the rest of the group is kind of trudging along behind that Scythia, you notice the way the servitor is moving when Ohm gets within kind of its sensor range is no longer a servitor doing its duty. You have fought servitors before. They are perfect training dummies for a lot of duties. You see the servitor twist and move in a way to strike Ohm.
I call out like immediately. If Ohm hasn't noticed, I call out like, "Look out!" You know, it's as directly as I can.
So basically, it's letting Ohm follow it, and it's about to turn around to try to swipe as he's following.
It's about to turn around and just frickin' backhand you with a big old like. Its arm is mostly replaced into just a tool that has other tools in it. It's a big hunk of metal.
All right.
And Scythia's call is enough for you to be aware that this behavior is combat based, essentially.
All right. Well, then, that being said, as soon as hold on, I'm gonna roll something on a little thing I have off to the side here. Let's see if you. As soon as Scythia says something, Ohm is just going to stop moving and let it continue on. You know. Basically, whatever its momentum is going to just stop and let it continue. Because I'm assuming it was prepared for him to continue to try to get close enough.
I think
I will. What's your plan, Elf?
I was just gonna say, I think as soon as Ohm stops, like, Scythia takes that as like, you have noticed what I have said, and runs in immediately to like try and block or
for sure
parry or whatever.
That's really cool. Let me roll, because this is like the last thing that's happening in the session, right? Let me roll its attack. It's going to have a negative modifier because Ohm, you stopped, and it's very simple.
Yeah.
Meat brain. If it's a hit, I will let you parry.
Sure, yeah.
Because that's just cool. That's just badass.
It's
I want that to happen.
Scythia has frustrations with Ohm, but she's not going to let something whack him if she can avoid it.
Yeah. It's a very low chance to hit you, to be fair.
Yeah.
But...
so it's gonna kick the shit out of me.
Yeah, so its attack is just a... And it's enough that it, like, rustles the hood, right? But you just stop completely still, and the massive servo fist just swings past your head, and as Scythia is coming in for the assist, that's a great place to end today's session, folks.
Nice.
That was wonderful.
Can't resist.
Yeah, of course. You gotta like cliffhanger it each time. It's the only way.
It's the only way.
I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
We're saving all the good rolls for the combat as opposed to the
Yeah,
as opposed
a little
to
bit
the
of a
shopping spree.
a little bit of trash rolls today, but that's okay.
I got some good rolls.
I mean, I feel like the thing with the shopping spree, right, is like that's something you do every time you get a chance, and like sometimes you get stuff and sometimes you don't.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it is really you're taking advantage of the situation and what's more likely to be here, right? So
And hey,
you'll
none
definitely
of us,
get more chances. In the
None
future.
of us killed a single person this time.
That's
No.
true.
Well,
that shouldn't be an accomplishment.
The servitor, if the servitor counts, that
Nope.
Servitors do not count as people. That is
Alright.
not allowed.
Wow, this is some
I mean,
really,
you
know.
did say like Vatgurn human / lobotomized human.
Sure,
I mean, that
in
still
universe,
sounds
if
like-
you consider a servitor any more than like automata, then you are deemed really weird.
Let's call it a half murder.
Half, I'll accept a half
Like
murder.
A little murder.
Has to be a people
Just a
for it
little
to be a
murder, as a
murder,
treat.
though.
Well, thank you so much, Ollie, for being such a great DM. Do you want to introduce yourself? We're gonna go around and introduce ourselves one more time.
Cool. Yeah. I'm Ollie. OLIRANT. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm doing a bunch of stuff on both of them. A lot of homebrew content. My board game Schism is coming out early next year. So if you like my storytelling, you like the energy that I have, I suppose, do check out all those things. I'm making a lot of content at the moment that's really cool. I'm really proud of, and DoomLore is the biggest thing happening right now. So definitely, if you're new, check out the rest as well in all the places.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Lucid Fox.
Yes, that is me. I am a Lucid with the Fox at the end of my name. 2 X's are there on all of the places, including the ones that you would expect. So come do that. I'm going to play a scary video game tomorrow called Phasmophobia for Halloween.
Awesome. Thank you. Lock the Raven.
I'm Lock the Raven. I do role playing and just general games on my Twitch. I also do voices, and you can also enjoy me in Star Trek Loveless every Tuesday. You can find me on twitch.tv/LockTheRaven or at LockTheRaven on Twitter.
Awesome. Thank you.
I am awesome.
You're welcome. Elf, hello.
Hello, you can find me, Distracted Elf, at twitch.tv/DistractedElf or on Twitter at DistractedElf, where I do lots of streaming stuff and role-playing game stuff. I also run the Roll20 Presents Rime of the Frost Maiden game on Mondays on twitch.tv/DND, so if you want to come around and check that out, that'd be great. I'm going to be streaming like not right after this, but like 20 minutes after this, getting back into some Neverwinter Nights RP, so if you want
Awesome.
to see that, I'll be doing that.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you, Elf. Next up is Enovan.
Hello there, I'm Enovan. I stream on twitch.tv at Enovan. I also post on Twitter, and I upload videos to YouTube, both under the same name, Enovan.
And how do you spell Enovan?
Enovan is spelled ENEVUN.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Enovan. My name is Nicotine. I do a lot of roleplay here at twitch.tv. I'm an official Twitch ambassador, along with Distracted Elf. And here at Fable Scraps, we've streamed this show to a live Twitch chat audience every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific. We also have a show on Tuesdays called Star Trek Loveless at 3 p.m. Pacific. We upload all of our old content to a YouTube channel. You can find that in the chat. fablescraps.com/YouTube if you're listening on Spotify or Stitcher. Big thank you to the cast. Huge thank you to Ollie. And of course, you, the viewer. Have a fantastic night, and we'll see you all again next week for DoomLore, a 40k story. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Night night.
Bye.
Untold masses of humanity are teeming throughout the stars. In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, there is only war.